Hi there, Dave Rose here, just switching to video to tie up the last part of this article to get the actual VM created and booted with PXEBOOT. There's one final piece that we will be needing in order to complete this, so we will need to create ourselves our virtual machine. I'm going to actually create a custom virtual machine here to leverage an earlier part of the article, which allows me to use the VMware XNet drivers. This VM is going to be called CentOS 5.5. We will be storing it locally. Several of these options are default, and we're going to continue with them, keeping the virtual machine version the same, but of course we need to switch to a 64-bit Red Hat Enterprise 5 and keep with one processor and give ourselves a couple gigs of memory. We will have just one interface card, but as you can see, we could now use the VMware VMXNet 3 driver. And the rest here we will just be leaving default. Make it 50 gig and then provision it. And that should be it. Now the VM's created. Of course, we are going to select the VM and switch to console mode. By default, without a hard disk with anything on it or a CD-ROM to load the operating system, VMware actually will PXEBOOT by default. So we'll go ahead and switch to console mode and start this VM up. What we're looking for here is a key address that we're going to use to link our configuration file that we found earlier. So you'll see it has PXEBOOted, and it goes through a set of default configuration files that it's going to be looking for. And in our case, we're really interested in this particular one here. And we will go ahead and now link this to our configuration file. Earlier I showed you a script that I had written. So in this case, we're going to call it C55 and just arbitrarily going to assign it an address of .33. So I'll go ahead and create this using the script mentioned earlier in the article, and now in our TFTP directory, we will now have a set of files, one called C55. In order to get PXEBOOT to work, it needs to load this configuration file, and it does that by offering this address in the lookup of config files that it wants. So what we'll do here is we'll symbolically link this configuration file that was generated with the script with this hexadecimal number that the system is trying to search for. And we will go ahead and do that now. So now the configuration files are linked. We can go back to our PXE boot screen and go ahead and reboot the device. And hopefully this time now it will pick up the configuration file. And we should be ready to do the install. As you see, it's now picked up the config file from the TFTP server. And you can see here it gives you a little bit of a safety net in case you accidentally PXEBOOT a box you don't want to. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and configure the system and hit enter. And there you go. It is now using the HTTP repository to fetch its configuration file and its kickstart file. And that's about it for the article. I'm sure everyone's system will be subtly different than mine, but hopefully this will provide you with enough information to go ahead and get your system up and running with PXEBOOT.